So yeah, so if you can just talk a little bit, Sarthak. First of all, thank you again for making that wonderful walk-STEM stop at UT Austin, our very first in UT Austin. Hopefully we'll have others jumping on the bandwagon. But tell us a little bit about the process you used from start to finish.
So I thought about all the different architecture that around UT at first, and I thought what would might be interesting for others to view and you might not see on another college campus. So there's a couple things that I thought about initially. Maybe the UT Tower is a very iconic landmark. Maybe the different cobblestone bricks on Speedway and how they, uh, I guess, form this pattern as any student at UT is going to know they walk down. And then a lot of my classes are centered in the north of campus. And one thing that a lot of students walk by who are in science classes over there is this structure of canoes that appears to be a lot of aluminum canoes that are held together by these metallic strings and anchored by a cement pole. And it's really something that overhangs across the main road of UT. So I thought that that would be interesting because my background is in science, and I could explain some of the uh, physical, like the physics concepts that could be holding that structure up potentially. So that's kind of how I selected what I wanted to do in my head. And then in terms of the questions I posed, I never actually stopped to think about how the structure would have been built until I was asked to make the video. So then I looked closely at the structure and saw those aluminum rods that I was talking about, as well as how they were put together and maybe if what order they were put together, or just how many boats there were in general, because that's never something I stopped to think about. So that's how I kind of approach asking my questions, is just what I overlook in my daily life. And this is something I see on the walk to classes all the time. And then in terms of selecting a question, I thought it might be best to select a question that has a little bit more background for me that I could answer, as well as research that I did online. So I'm a pre-med student, so all pre-med students are required to take physics 1 and physics 2. So I know at least a little bit about the basic concepts that keep the structure up, like compression and tension. And I thought that that would be interesting to talk about because it was also in front of one of the major UT natural sciences buildings.
Mhm.
So that would be, I guess, a
Yeah,
good connection
very
between me.
appropriate.
Yeah. So I researched a little bit about the sculpture constructor, and then I researched why she did it and her efforts in conservation in Austin. And then it did, in fact, end up being surface and compression that held part of the structure together, as well as a concrete slab that held the center of gravity. So I thought those physics concepts would be interesting to talk about. As somebody with a video production background, I thought it was very easy to pick up. If you're using Canva for the first time, I don't think it would be that hard to understand how you could drag your different video clips that you take onto the template video clips, and then it's very easy to copy in the format of the text, I guess, that's in front of the video clips, and
Mhm.
very user friendly to adjust the video length that you want, depending on if you're talking in the background or if you just have text to give people time to read it. I thought the steps were very clearly outlined. That was helpful, and it gave some helpful tips at the beginning. So like first ask your questions. It could be multiple questions, and they're like record your observations and then explain. And I liked how in the example video, they just showed, uh, I guess the background of the greenery in the car, and I thought that was very casual, and it didn't seem too daunting or intimidating to use in the first place.
So there's different ways that whoever it is wants to make this kind of walk-STEM video, they can kind of personalize it in their own way.
Yeah. Another thing that I guess I'd add, that you could change your music that you goes along with it.
Mhm.
There was a template music that I ended up using, but there are a bunch of royalty-free tracks that you can put behind it if your video is sort of a different vibe than the template music.
Oh, cool. And so how would people find the royalty-free music that they could use as an option?
Canva actually has a library that you could search through when you go through the audio section of editing. They have that where you can select however long you want it. I think you can actually input certain moods that you could do too for
Oh,
background music. So that's one thing that
okay.
they have also.